All right, welcome back to another Clearmud live stream. Today we're building out of Claude Code and kind of in between two ideas here. I either want to build out this other extension, this domain I've been squatting on, GEO extension, or we're going to build out a front end for one of my operating systems that I use on a weekly basis. Let me make sure we're live. Kind of in between two ideas. Okay, we are live, perfect. And everything's connected, beautiful. So I think why not? Why not try to build out a front end for Repurpose OS and see how we do. First, I want to back it up, so I'm just going to create a compressed version of that folder, and then here in the terminal, let's change directory to just drag that in there, easier to type. And now we're in. So let's spin up Claude. Do I not have a Claude MD file for there? I guess I don't. Interesting. Let me just give it a set of instructions here. Oh, I didn't have my background on. There we go. Much better. I feel like that might be too loud. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, and if you're watching this, whether live or on the recording, and you want to see me build something specific, drop a comment. Let me know what you're interested in. Today was a big editing day for me. I have 3 videos that are almost ready to schedule. I've already scripted a few more that we're going to be recording next week. But it's nice to have, 3 or 4 videos back in the queue and not working week to week like I was for a few weeks there. But I'll make sure that time-sensitive videos kind of jump ahead in the queue when needed. Okay, it's creating that MD file for us. Let's also make sure to add the following into our Claude MD file. I'm going to paste all that in there. Actually do want to test. I set up this Social Stream Ninja plugin. I'm just going to say hi. Looks like it is not working. Social Stream. Oh, I had to open that every time. Got it. Okay, service active. So now, I times 2. It should populate. I times 3. Come on, work. Okay, we'll get back to coding here in a second. I just want to, if anybody's ever used this before, let me know. But I wanted to be able to start pinning comments because that's one thing that OBS doesn't natively allow. So, I mean, I'm already set up here. So let me take that off screen. Yeah, we're already set up. Interesting. Confirm. And let's see if I can't. Okay, so it is working now. And look at that. I can pin chat. Sweet. Awesome. I'll leave that there for now. I'll tweak it as I go. So just rule of thumb, I have to start this up each time. Interesting. Cool. And let's keep that on dock, and then we'll put that next to OBS. Sweet. All right. Summary of Claude MD, project overview, essential commands. Okay, now I'd like to create a front end for this operating system. Keep in mind, this is for local use. It's not going to be a SaaS product. I just would like to see if we can't create just a fun, almost CRM looking GUI, graphic user interface, for this operating system so that I can operate out of my browser. Please analyze the code base and first form a plan before you apply any changes. And I'm going to shift tab twice to make sure plan mode is active. Cool. Yeah, and if this goes well, I might turn Clearmud OS into its own or its own front end as well. But this is just a fun experiment. And for anybody curious, if you're new here, what we're turning into, what we're essentially giving a front end to, let me open it up so you can see how it operates. I'm gonna open it up in Cursor here. But essentially a command line operating system that has a /generate command, and I paste in an old YouTube URL, and it will analyze, here on Clearmud, it'll analyze the voice and tone, it'll download the entire transcript, analyze the voice and tone, and then generate copy for me on LinkedIn, X, and Substack. And then it will also generate images for me for both LinkedIn and Substack. I haven't set up the X generation yet, but it'll generate via a Nano Banana Pro API. I'm comfortable operating it on the CLI. It's no problem. But I thought, it's a fun experiment to see if we can't turn this into, some type of front end interface that I just spin up a dev server each time. And let's see. It's asking me what the tech stack should be. I'm going to say you choose best fit. How should we handle Claude Code skills? Interesting. Let's try to wrap. Yeah, no database. Yes. 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 Submit answers. And I will spin up right side here. Let's make sure. I'm shocked it didn't already spin up this this directory. I'll admit that as soon as I know this tech stack here. And one thing I forgot to check is, are we using Opus? No, we're using Sonnet. Darn it. Let me switch model. Opus. Realized I wasn't using Opus there. I switched models. Please continue. That's an error on my part. All right, planning's almost done. We might have to go back and forth a few times. We'll see. See how well it did on this first go. I have to turn this off just for a second. All right, you're back. Beautiful. All right, here's our plan. Create a browser-based GUI. Local use only. CRM-like interface. React plus 5%. Okay. As long as that works, yeah. This is all local, so we don't have to worry about any vulnerabilities, right? This is not a SaaS product, so it's saying days, but I think we can knock this out in the stream. And if we break it, that's why I created a compressed version before we started today's session. So I can continue using it in the CLI if I prefer. YOLO, auto accept edits. Let's go. Make sure you use bun instead of npm, please. Run bun init before you get started. And 5173, let's go grab Google Chrome. Yeah, and one thing I like to also do on the live streams, let's just give a sneak peek into what we're working on, what's coming soon. So while that's working, let's pull up our Notion dashboard. And as you can see here on screen, we have 7 tips for Nano Banana Pro. I honestly, part of me doesn't want to post this, but you know, I think some people will find value in it, and it was a fun experiment based off their blog post, so that's coming next week. I built out an AI thumbnail generator based off of Idea Browser's, I think it was December 20th, their advent calendar where they were giving away, you know, 1 full free idea per day. As long as you show up and you claim that idea, it's assigned to your account for life. So we built that out based off of a few screenshots. That was a fun experiment. I don't think I'll turn that into a SaaS product personally, but and then we also, based off of community feedback and a comment on an older video where we compared Google AI Studio in the web, and this was pre-Gemini 3 Pro or Flash, versus Claude Code. So I believe we were using Sonnet. We built a landing page, and they were, you know, it was a fun experiment, but that one person in particular asked, can you build an app? So I've already recorded that video. I just need to finish editing it. I essentially built, if you're familiar with Paddy Galloway, if you're trying, you know, if you're doing a lot of research on YouTube, you should be familiar with Paddy Galloway. He's helped a lot of the larger channels grow. I built out a web app that takes a topic, creates 100 ideas from it, sifts them down into the top 10, then you choose the top 10, and then it generates a script based off of your selection. Stay tuned for that video. There will be a part 2 if requested. It's super basic. I really was surprised by the results there, especially based off of our last 2 rounds of, of Gemini 3 Pro versus Opus 4.5. But so those 2 are almost done editing. So we'll schedule all 3 of these by the end of the week. And then this is next in the pipeline. And then, you know, I have a few other things. I want to create a video based off of Claude Code's founder, his workflow on how he uses Claude Code. But that's, you know, just, I haven't thumbnail or scripted that. The only one I have thumbnail and scripted is the Claude Code tricks you didn't know about. So, yeah, fun little stuff in the pipeline. Whoops. Oh, it's good to know those hotkeys are working again. They stopped working for a while. This little toggle back and forth. Whoops, again, I need to click out of OBS. And that can be minimized. That should be able to be closed. I'm actually curious on what's happening to the file structure here. Okay. Yeah, and for anybody curious, I'm normally operating this operating system out of Cursor, but I want to get in the habit of using the terminal to use Claude Code. It just takes less stress off of the system since I have so many other things open on this, and it is an older M1. So I haven't noticed it slowing down yet, but I'm just trying to practice different ways of using Claude Code, and I usually only use the terminal when I'm building out a Google Chrome extension or something like this. But trying to change my ways. Is that a hotkey that's doing that? I didn't mean to do that that time. Whoops. And is there a delay? I'm really hoping it didn't use that AI slop-like purple gradient. I didn't define it. I wanted to see what would happen. Let's see. That's an easy prompt to change the styling, but I am curious. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and grab dashboard. Oops, I meant content. Let's do this one. Grab this link, get it ready. And if I remember correctly, it was, I'm not even sure what port it says. 5173. get it ready there. Perfect. It is wrapping things up here. Let's go ahead and open up Obsidian. I want to switch over to company. Third one there. Run div. Perfect. So that's running. And I'm just curious, let's go see what the UI looks like. Oh, styling is not set. also something to add to your list, our front end appears to not be styled. It's just plain HTML. All right. All right. Nice. Has our brand colors in place. Great. Nice. It has the mark. It did a decent job creating a front end on its own. I'm impressed. Definitely some improvement needs to be made, but this is a great starting point. And I gotta say, you know, if you're just watching this video, let me open up how I used to operate this operating system here. And I think I'll continue using the CLI until I'm happy with this front end. But it's essentially a project that I built out of Cursor, but you can build it out of the terminal as well. I built this live on past YouTube videos, but we have certain / commands. You spin up Claude, you do a / generate, you paste in a YouTube URL, right? And then from there, everything's automated to where it creates, first it downloads the transcript, then it analyzes your tone, your voice, and then it creates copy based off of the transcript, based off of the subject of the video, and all of the content discussed in the video. And then on top of the copy, it then generates creative using a Nano Banana Pro API for Substack and LinkedIn. But today is a fun experiment to see, can I make a front end for this that I would like more than using the CLI? So I will just close out of Claude Code here since we are working out of the terminal today. And I gotta say, I'm happy with it. Definitely needs some improvement, but let's continue along. Let's vibe with it. All right, it's looking good. Let's continue this this integration. I'm seeing here under process video. Oops, I'm holding option. That's why I did that. Let's make sure YT DLP is connected as well as Claude Code CLI, so that we can test a generate command with a YouTube URL. Loving it. Process video, there we go. Or was it under settings? Yeah, it was here. Cool, cool, cool. Doesn't really allow me to change it, but I don't want to, right? Because this was already set in the .env file there. Who knows? Maybe I do turn this into a SaaS product, but for now, this is just for local use. I built this selfishly for me to help automate my life. And yeah, the one thing I would say is looking here is obviously we need to do a little refresh with the UI. And then this as well. right? These markdown files, I would actually like to preview this as if we're reading it in Obsidian. Shows us our images here that we generated. I mean, not bad, not bad, not a bad skeleton. And this just takes us to that tab, right? And then this I would probably turn into a vertical style list. That way everything stays above the fold. Just a little nitpicky thing of mine personally. What would be really cool is, I'm already having thoughts of, I don't want to get ahead of myself though. Thoughts of how to improve that graphic user interface there on the front end. And if I were to turn this into a SaaS product, I'd probably deploy it onto Clearmud.app. And it would essentially look like it's a computer in the web browser. So I would make this all within a module that's kind of floating, and then have some type of background that's faded and blurred. And then here on the top left is where you select, and you can toggle between all of the OSs within Clearmud.app, right? So ideation is a new one that we built a YouTube video for that video I was teasing where we compared Google AI Studio versus Claude Code Opus 4.5. But that would be a fun project to slowly build out. But if you're watching this, whether live or the recording, and you want to see that, maybe you want to pay for that type of application, let me know you're interested. Because right now, this is all just selfishly for me. I'm building this all in public. So you can recreate all of this if you look at past YouTube videos. And yeah. I just want to get to a point where we can test this on one of the most recent drops, which will do the how to use Claude in Chrome one. So I'll grab this here once it's ready. Oh, and it's leftover pizza night tonight. I have some fresh pizza dough that's thawing out on the countertop, warming up the oven with the pizza stone since I don't want to go stoke the fire outside in the wood-fired oven. Rather start it and stoke it and all that. Come on, buddy. Okay. Wait, I'd like to test the process myself rather than having you look like you're running a YouTube URL we've already analyzed here. So I want to intercept, and I want to do this video here, this most recent one, but let's see what's up. Open. Okay. Currently, the front end is displaying a white page. We do have hot reload enabled on bun, so what else could be causing this? Yeah, during its process of integrating those past two features, the front end no longer loads. There are no errors. Element console, bring it down. Hide that extension. Remove. I am getting this in the browser console log, so let's paste in that error. Just to show you here. Oh yeah, and I might as well be proactive here. Let's go and grab, for anybody who's watching this, whether live or the recording, if you want to see how this operating system was built, it's this one here. So let's get shareable link. Let's paste that in there. Interesting. I can't paste links into chats on OBS. Let me fix that. Just open up the stream and paste it manually. And then I should be able to pin that. Voila. So that's part one, and then there's part two, which was dropped shortly after. I think I did it the same week, where we integrated Google Nano Banana Pro. Now, I guess I can't really make today a long form video. It's a live stream. But if this pans out, if it's a front end I start using, then I'd have to incorporate it into. Oh, it's on a timer. Interesting. And for anybody curious, I am testing this new kind of pop-up chat module. Now I'm starting to think I should move it. So let's move it there, maybe underneath, or maybe bottom right-hand side, I think is a good spot. Let me make sure that's visible on full screen. So the timeline goes up to essentially the bottom of. No, it's perfect right there. Okay. So let me try. Yo, what's up, Luke? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. It's been a while. All right, let's. You know, we're building in public here. We're testing new streaming features as well. Right now, I am working on creating a front end for an operating system I built just for Clearmud called Repurpose OS. And the gist of it is it allows me, you know, the current version at least. Let me show you what it looks like. Let's open up Repurpose OS. But previously, you know, I operate out of Cursor, which is an IDE, and I spin up Claude, and I run a /generate command. It asks me for a YouTube URL. I give it one of Clearmud's, you know, long form YouTube videos. It then downloads the transcript, analyzes the voice, the tone, and then it creates copy for me to use to post on LinkedIn, X, and a Substack long form. And then I integrated Google's Nano Banana Pro to then automate the image generation based off of the copy for Substack and LinkedIn. And I still, you know, primarily use it out of this interface here, but I thought today for the live stream, it would be a fun experiment to build out a front end that's just for me, right? This isn't going to be a product that I'm launching unless people are interested in it for their own channels. That is just, I don't want to say easier to use, but just a kind of like a breath of fresh air, something new to test and play with. So that's what we're doing today on today's live stream. Hey, nice, nice, nice. Man, evening gym sesh, huh? I need to get back into the gym. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Well, that's good. Happy New Year to you if I didn't say it yet. Hey, right on, right on. Yeah. So I also built that operating system on a live stream. I think it was this one here. I built a content automation OS in 20 minutes. So that was Repurpose OS that I built live. Well, not live, but recording. And then I integrated Nano Banana Pro. So anybody can recreate the version that I built out of the CLI, but now this front end is a little more unique, right? It's a little different. Try hard refresh in your browser. All right, let's go take a look here. Nope. Hard refresh did not do the trick. Here's the error I see in the browser console log. Yeah, and as of now, Luke, these live streams are only once a week, but eventually I want to start doing these Monday, Wednesday, Friday at least, or maybe move them to Tuesdays and Thursdays. That way my Mondays and Fridays are open for other things. Not sure yet, but we're just kind of getting consistent with doing one day a week and evaluating things as we progress here. But hey, I see you working hard on your YouTube channel. Let me know if there's anything that you could build to improve your process, your life. What would it be? Let me know. Maybe I'll build it out for you and I'll turn it into a video and then I'll hand over the code base and teach you how to use it. I think it'd be a fun experiment, right? That's one of the things on this channel. My outro for every single long form video is if you want to see me make a video about something specific, let me know what that is, right? And I'll build out that video. So you let me know, Luke. You let me know. Try refreshing now. Where is it? There we go. Perfect. All right, so it started to process another video, but I want to do it. All right, so let's go ahead and grab this, this one here. Get shareable link. Perfect, thank you, it works. I'm gonna run a test now and report back. So many ideas, so little time. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Who knows? Maybe after a phone call, come up with some new ideas. How's that chat box looking for you? Is it too small, too big? Curious on your feedback there. I think it's a good size. It's about a third of the width, or yeah, it's almost half actually. All right, I love it. I mean, so far, so good. So far, so good. Let's see here. Yeah, and as soon as we test this process here, make sure it works, then I'm going to start fine-tuning the UI just a touch. Let's actually go ahead and grab just in case any errors pop up here. Kind of keep that hidden. Now, currently it's running a test, so let's see how it does. I do have a quick question in the meantime, though. When this front end is working on processing the video, do I need to have like this session open, for example, in the background each time? Or can I just spin up the dev server in a terminal via bun run dev and the process video will work? Curious. I think I need to have Claude Code open each time, but let's just ask it. You know, when in doubt, just ask. Okay, I can switch users now. It's taking a while for the LinkedIn post. I don't remember it taking that long, but we shall see here. Ah, okay. So I do need to spin up 2 terminals. Good to know. So I'm going to copy this, throw it in a notepad. That's actually one thing I do want to build is my own notepad. I know there's so many notepad apps out there, but I think that'd be a fun little project. Call that Clearmud OS, new note. Repurpose OS. Commands for front end. Okay. All right, let's go take a look, shall we? It did finish. The whole process worked. Now, obviously, this is not as legible as I'd like. Let's just open up Obsidian to see. We're in Repurpose OS. Let's go to content. The one thing I don't see, though, that's funny. Its test went to Rick Ashley. Okay, so I need to have that organized a little bit better. So here is the content for LinkedIn. This is something we do need to fine tune. I want to add Clearmud's branding on here, but it's decent. Let's go to its Substack. Claude extension, main post. All right, so this is my viewpoint in Obsidian. Let's go check the images. They haven't been generated. Interesting. Substack. No images generated yet. Interesting. Okay. Let's generate images. No. All right, we found a little bug, and it's okay. It's perfect. All right, it looks like it did generate the copy, no problem. But the image generation for Substack did not process on the front end. And I also checked the file system. It's not in the images directory, although it did create an images folder underneath the Substack title of the video that we just processed. Okay. Yeah, we need to improve on this quite a bit. But let's just read it really quickly, shall we? I let Claude Code control my browser for a day. Here's what happened. The new Claude extension turns AI from a chatbot into a browser automation assistant, and it's both impressive and perfect. Everything you know about AI assistants is about to feel outdated. For the past year, we've been copying text back and forth between ChatGPT and our browsers like digital couriers. Interesting. That's kind of my voice. Curious, is it actually pulling my voice? Interesting. Part of me is not sure how I feel about that. I got to make sure the subagents are actually working properly. Now, one thing I'd like to ask as well is, on that test output, it didn't sound like my voice. Are we sure that we're properly utilizing the subagents and skills that we've created that work out of the CLI? Make sure everything's working there, please. And yes, image generation worked for LinkedIn, just not Substack on that text, on that test rather. So the API key is working. And then something to add to your list. What I want to do is for the outputs, the text-based outputs, I want to make them a little bit more legible, like it's like we're reading out of Obsidian, right? I just don't like the plain text that's provided. Is there some type of text editor that we can incorporate into this front end that has the code blocks for copy paste like I see in Obsidian? And we're going to just start vibing since the process for the most part is working. And then I'm adding to the list, right? I'm not saying stop what you're doing, but add to the list. Image format mismatch. Skills not being properly invoked. Let me check the skill definition. Let's also see here. Oh wait, that's right. I never created subagents for this one. So it's just the skills that need to be invoked. Gotcha. Yeah, one other thing to add to the list is there should never be generic prompts or placeholder prompts, right? If it doesn't work, we have to query an error saying try again, right? The whole purpose of this OS is to be as precise as possible. No placeholder data, please. I know that was a part of the original plan when we were planning this out, and I was okay with it. But now it's something that I do want to vibe code out of there to make sure that everything's working as intended, as it was. Okay. Should be close to another preview here. It's still calling it Nano Banana. Oh, yeah. Raw rendered. I like it gave me the option. That's cool. That is cool. I don't think this is necessary, but that's something cool. Little code block that we can pull. That's awesome. Headline options. We need to improve this for sure. Body, copy. Okay. Definitely a lot of room for improvement. Oh, I didn't even ask for this, and it shows us our research phase. Love it. Voice analysis as well. But I'm loving this markdown renderer. Much better, much better. Great. Beautiful. Let's see where we're at. Fronter will now display content with proper markdown render. You can switch video. Okay. Try reprocessing video. So I just want to regenerate the images here. Try reprocessing a video to test the improved voice matching with the full skill instructions included. Okay. Let me just grab. I guess we'll run that test one more time with the same one. Get shareable link. Hard refresh. Go back home, process, paste. Ooh. This helps me save on usage. Let's see if it works. I didn't ask for this, but I'm curious to see if this works. Let's just do Substack. I don't think it's going to work because we didn't specify that that's a feature we want. Let's see if it skips LinkedIn and X. But I really love that. And what's cool about the copy part of this app is it's using our Claude Code subscription, not a Claude API, right? Not an Anthropic API. The only API we're using here is the image outputs on Nano Banana Pro. Although it calls it Nano sometimes. This is something we gotta fix. Yeah, I think what we might start doing is Clearmud.app. I don't have it forwarding. Interesting. I'm pretty sold on it. I think what we're going to start doing on this live stream is building out Clearmud.app. And then different versions, right? Different toggles of the app. Repurpose OS, YouTube scripts, live stream timestamping, right? Essentially an OS that you paste in a past live stream of yours. It'll analyze the transcript. It'll generate a optimized SEO description for you to paste into YouTube. It'll give you suggested tags to apply to that live stream, as well as timestamps in that description, so that your live stream is autonomously timestamped based off of the transcript that it analyzes, I think. And then ideation. I think that's going to be the move. Okay. So now it's extracting content. And since we're operating blind here, we can actually go and take a look in Obsidian and see what's happening. So let's go to Substack, close this out. And it looks like it didn't create a new folder yet. But it did generate some images on the past one. Interesting. Unless it just took a while for them to come in. Huh. I mean, look at these images. They're so great. They're just ready to go. Text is not gibberish. Beautiful. Now, one thing I got to do is our brand directory. I don't think I properly set this up yet. This is like a work in progress. We have avatars in here as well. These are my old avatars. I now have these 3D ones. So I think removing these, adding in the 3D avatars, and making sure that the avatars as well as the typography is properly incorporated, because I can see that this doesn't look like Poppins nor Montserrat regular to me. Looks like some type of sans, maybe open sans. Anyway, let's see. Look at that. It did skip X and it did LinkedIn. Apparently it skipped Substack. Interesting. Let's go see what's happening. You would think that it created a separate directory, but it didn't. Huh. Okay. I don't think that feature works properly yet, so that's something we'll have to vibe. It looks like it's generating brand new images, and I think it's just going to replace what's here. Yeah, you can already see it's replaced these two at least. That's a funny side view that it made. So it is actually pulling our avatars. It's just not on every generation, right? Yeah, and then it just updated this one as well. Okay. So it just replaced all that. Interesting. Interesting. Substack. Yep, you can now see the images here. You can now download them through here. Okay. Wow. I kind of want to press this, but I don't, but I do. All right, I'm curious. I notice you put in a regenerate images button. That's pretty much visible across every tab. If I press it, does it regenerate the images for every single output, like LinkedIn and Substack, which we have configured right now? And then in addition to that, or does it just do it based off of the tab that I'm in? And then in addition to that, if it's working properly, I would like to make sure we don't replace the original generations, right? If we ever regenerate images or test a YouTube URL twice, that it detects there's an image in there and then creates, you know, in parentheses 2 or 3 to make sure that there's the history of all the images that we generate. So we're not just overwriting images that we pay for, that we generate. Does that make sense? Because it would be nice to have, you know, all the different images that we generate since we are paying for them, right? Today, hey, nice to meet you, João. João Pedro. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Moody Booty. All right, I got to make sure I don't say stuff like that on this channel. But, but for anybody curious, this is my little cousin. Hope you're doing well. Feliz do ano novo, huh? We haven't talked in a while. Yeah, today we're vibing. I built out this operating system in Cursor that I primarily use in the CLI. And I have a /generate command, and its purpose is to paste in YouTube URLs that, you know, long form videos that I post on this channel. And it'll download the transcript, analyze my voice, and then generate copy for LinkedIn, a few variations, X, as well as a Substack long form. And then I incorporated a Nano Banana Pro API to automate the image generation based off of the copy. So it's really making my life very, very easy. As well as me not having to write out articles, right? I speak naturally. I don't, in my long form videos, I don't read a script. I read it before I record. I have a general idea of what I'm gonna talk about, and then I talk about it in my own voice. Well, this operating system, quote unquote, pulls that and analyzes my voice and then writes articles for me. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. So we're just now, for today's live stream, I'm experimenting. Can I make a front end version of it, right? Based off of its code base. And Claude Code's doing a pretty good job of it so far, right? UI wise, I definitely want to change some things. At least we don't have that purple gradient, which I hate. But it's also inspiring me to launch Clearmud.app, which is going to be, you know, its own website that has different operating systems that creators can use to go in and toggle between repurpose, ideation, YouTube script generation, live stream timestamping, things like this. So, but thank you for tuning in. Hey, if you guys want to see a particular video made, that's one of the things on this channel that I do is if you have a request, if you want to see something built and you don't want to take the time to do it, or maybe you don't know how to do it, chances are if you're Moody's work friend, you're a dev, so you probably already know how to build what you need to build. But if you want me to make a video for you, let me know what it is, what the topic is. Just drop a comment in any one of my videos, and I'll make sure I add it to my queue to record in the coming weeks. As of now, I'll give you a little teaser. Where's my dashboard? We have this is more of like a consumer-friendly video, 7 tips for Nano Banana Pro, coming out next week. We have one where I built out an AI thumbnail generator, and what it does is you paste in your YouTube channel, it goes back and it checks underperforming, or rather high-performing videos, and then creates new thumbnails based off of the topic and the video you want. It was a fun experiment. And then we also built an ideation web app on 2 different platforms, one on Google AI Studio in the web, and then the other out of Claude Code in Cursor. We know nothing. Google knows everything. I mean, Google, listen, I don't use ChatGPT that often. I use it sometimes. I use Claude the most, Anthropic the most. I use Perplexity as well. Perplexity is great. But, I mean, Anthropic knows everything now. Shoot. That's where I go for it. I literally use Claude Code on a daily basis. So, and then Gemini 3 Pro is pretty sweet too. Okay. Wait, what did it say? Okay, so it removed the global. Each platform tab has its own generate new. And then just to clarify, since we don't have a skill created for the X image generation, that shouldn't work, right? New images get version file names. Perfect. I mean, it nailed it. It nailed it. So I'll go spend some money and regenerate these images really quickly. Just to let's do a hard refresh on this. And let's first do LinkedIn. The button just flashes. I don't like that when I press it. So when I press generate new, the button just flashes really quickly. I think that if the button's pressed, there should be a circle that rotates until the new generation is done, and then the button becomes available to click again. That way I can't spam the button. And I just tested this on LinkedIn's tab for the most recent video. Let's see, hard refresh. Yeah, there's the new one. Okay, hard refresh. Substack. I'm gonna wait for it to apply those changes. So Murilu, what are you building? Have you had any time on your own to build something? I know last time we talked, you were building something, but I'd love to hear what you're up to. And then also, when are you coming to Portugal, huh? Huh? I'm going to try to be there in April, by the way. I'll call you when I get back to the States, once I know my schedule. But I also have to make sure I have at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks of videos filmed and scheduled for this channel before I go take a little mini vacation, because I don't know how much recording I would do over there, you know? Yeah, so some work needs to be done here. I think I'll do it on the next live stream. I want to dial in the image generation first, and then we're going to tweak the overall UI just a touch. Oh my God, I'm building nothing now. WoW took my soul recently. Build something for WoW. Why not? Right? I know there's a lot of resources out there, but you can come up with some idea. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. I wonder if somebody's using Claude Code or vibe coding in general to build out whether it's new add-ons for WoW, or maybe it's something else, a resource. Might not be a bad idea, you know? Just to experiment. I'm not saying to make money, but just have fun, build something new. I primarily build things I need to make my life easier on this channel, that I think people would also find useful. And so far, I've been loving it. Okay, I'm gonna close out Obsidian. Since we're happy with where we're at, let's do a hard refresh. Let's go back. The button now shows a spinning indicator while generating is disabled, can't spam click, polls every 3 seconds to check for new images, automatically stops when it detects new images appears. Loving it, let's go. All right, so let's go to a different video here. It's amazing that it's test. I wanna go back to this video here and look at that, beautiful. So much better. Nice, nice, nice. Good to hear it. We'll be talking soon. I don't like that. I wonder if I press that, will it... What will happen? I don't want to... Actually, I know one we can do. So let's do a hard refresh. Go back to Substack. So it's still doing its thing, even though we can press it again. Interesting. Okay, so it did the first one. Cool. Definitely needs some improvement, though. Okay. I think I'll focus an entire live stream off improving the image outputs. Now, let's do 2 things. Let's test this delete video. Okay, are you sure you want to delete this video and all of its content? Yes. Okay. So at least it does. Maybe I can do a double delete verification where it's like type in delete in all caps with a little pop-up. But for now, I think it's fine. As long as there's some type of indicator. Okay. And then I noticed a feature that you incorporated on the process page that we can toggle target platforms on or off before we start processing a URL. Does that actually work? Or does it just process them all regardless? And then here's some UI changes I'd like to make. For this entire web app, I think that it should be placed in a container, but the container should be practically full screen, but there should be a slight spacing or padding on the top and sides. Just a few pixels, right? Just to give the illusion that when you visit this web app, you're essentially inside of your own computer screen or terminal. And then on the background itself, I would like the background to be blurred. And then I want to use the specific background of the image that I'm pasting into this chat. All right, and then let me give it the image. I'm gonna use our background for our live stream right now. So let me just go grab that. Where is it? Pull this off here. Dev. Where did I place that? Blue grid. I think that's in our video editing folder, huh? Videos, creative. Backgrounds, blue grid. Try again with a smaller image. Oh, was it a 4K image? Let's tweak that really quickly. Let me just pull that in there. Image size. Oh yeah, that's massive. Okay. And let's alter the canvas just a touch. 1250. Proceed. Just so you see what I'm doing. So this will be the background. Then we'll also make sure it's blurred. Export as PNG. Rather, let's save as a WebP instead. Blue grid, Clearmud app. And should be able to select WebP there. Let's call it background. So I think it's time I start slowly building out the folder for that. Clearmud app. Just place it in there for now. Voila. Okay. App. There we go. Image was too large. What, are you kidding me? Get out of here. What's the size limit here? Are you hallucinating? It sure is. Interesting. That's never happened to me to this point. Interesting. I think I'm just going to close out the session. And we're going to spin up Claude again. Bam. Since it is a fresh session, though, it's going to have to analyze the code base. Hopefully it doesn't hallucinate here. It should get right back on track on its own. Oh, we've been streaming for 2 hours. Nice. Make sure we spin up the dev server there. Oh no, you know what? We actually don't need to do that if it's running within Claude. So I can close that all together for now. Now let's open up a fresh one just in case we need it. Okay, cool. It's creating its actual own grid pattern with CSS. Lovely. Let's go back into this dev folder. Change directory. This is actually an old one that I built. We now have this one. Three. Okay, still not. All right, good start. Let's add more spacing, right? Let's maybe 10 pixels on top and bottom, and then 20 pixels on the left and the right. I could do that manually, but let's just have Claude do it for us. Right, because it's barely noticeable. I want it to really be almost like floating. And then ideally, we don't have to scroll. Right? It's a fixed module that you scroll within it so that we don't have to scroll the whole page. And then ideally, this module, when you scroll, I think it should be fixed, whereas regardless of the user's resolution, it's fixed, and then when you scroll, you actually scroll within the module rather than scrolling the entire page. And then I do see you added some spacing. Double it. Double it. Okay. See how we do. Auto edits on. Much better. Look at this. Wonderful. I think what we can do though is get away with looking good. Now, let's make sure that the top, bottom, left, right are all equal. So apply 50 pixels all around the module, please. Should be automatic. Yep, it is doing it automatic. Okay, much better, much better. Look at that. I mean, low resolutions would suck, but you know, this is just for me, so 80% is a 1920 by 1080 roughly. Okay, it's a good viewpoint. 4K. Once you get into the 4K though, wow, that is incredibly small. But what's cool is this zoom works pretty nicely here. Okay. Nice. And then, I'm having ideas to turn this web app into, one of 4, for example, where you have Repurpose OS on the top left-hand side of the entire app. Let me know what would go into this. I would like the option to click that. It turns into a drop-down that you can toggle between different operating systems, essentially different apps. What would go into making this possible? All being hosted off of the same domain. Because I don't know the answer to this question. I can research it and ask, but I'd rather just ask Claude. Where's my whisper flow? Why isn't that? I don't think that auto dictated, did it? There we go. Yeah, other things we're going to do is improve the workflow to where instead of showing the workflow steps, this shows up after you start processing. So then this gets replaced with another section here, and then it goes left to right rather than top down. But that's something we'll vibe in future live streams. I'm loving the progress we've made. Wow. I was not expecting to like this front end, to be honest. This was just supposed to be an experiment, but I think that this is actually going to be a thing that I really fine-tune for me and then eventually turn it into a... Okay. Yeah, it's a multi-app shell. It's a better way to explain it. Here's what would be involved. Front-end architecture options, single React app with app switching, simplest. Right, so we'd create different subdirectories per app. Micro front ends, more complex, more scalable. Each app is a separate build, loaded dynamically. Shell loads, the selected app at runtime. Pros, independent deployments. Separate teams can own apps. More infrastructure complexity. Yeah, I feel like the single React app might be the move. Although I do like, having each within its own environment. It would just be a bit tedious, but I think that's actually the more ideal route. I think that's the more ideal route. We'll see. Yes, please do. We'll go with option 1, and then at a later date, I'm going to incorporate 2 other tools that I've also built that I want to create some front ends for as well. Now, question is, would we have to bring in all that? Actually, never mind. Scratch that. Forget it. Yes, please do. So I'm just going to have it kind of create the skeleton first. I'm not going to give it any more context. And then I need to go out and make a plan for doing this one here. I think the app that I built in this demonstration comparison video is going to be a feature. It's an ideation app. And then I would probably do Clearmud OS. I have 2 different commands in Clearmud OS, one for live streams and one for YouTube script generation. And I think I would break that into 2 separate apps, right? So have one specific live stream OS app that analyzes live streams, creates the YouTube metadata, suggested tags, timestamps, et cetera, and then another one for YouTube script writing as well. But I think we're at a great starting point, or stopping point rather. I'm loving where we're at. This is great. My goodness. Gotta love vibe coding. So we'll let this finish and then we'll stop it for today. Because it's almost 8 and I want to eat some pizza before it gets too late. So And then I think essentially what we would have to do is interesting. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fine tuning involved here, but once we have it dialed in, I think it'll be great. Oh, that's one other thing we wanted to do is a brand style sheet section that we can update, right? We have the brand colors here, but we don't have imagery, logo, avatars, faces, right? Things that we want to incorporate on the image outputs. So we'll vibe this on next week's live stream. I want to continue working on this because I really like this. I really love the progress we've made. Interesting. Look at that. Nice. So it has a placeholder. Cool. Oh, wow. I'm loving this. Okay. I'm loving where we're at. Yeah, pizza night. I think we're at a great stopping point here. So next week, we're going to be back at it. We're going to fine tune Repurpose OS front end. And then we'll start incorporating Clearmud OS, right? The YouTube script, the ideation, the live streams. But, you know, this is going to be something we're working on for a couple weeks, at least bare minimum. So we'll dial in repurpose first, and then because there's a lot I want to do here. And then we'll have to kind of restructure this entire code base to make sure that, you know, it's a code base for something called Clearmud app rather than these individual operating systems that we have, right? I already created the folder somewhere else. I'll actually work on that later. It's pizza time. So, yeah. Thanks everyone for stopping by, for tuning in. If you're watching this live, thank you for being here. Hope everyone has a great start to the new year. And if you're watching the recording, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of what we built today. Let me know if you want to see me build anything specific. I'd be happy to add a video to my queue, custom tailored just for you. So yeah, I think that's a great stopping point. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Moody, João, Luke. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a great week ahead, and I'll catch you next week. All right, cheers.